Hi everyone and welcome to this video. Now, a while ago I made a video on 3 reasons why you should study psychoanalysis. Now, in the meantime, there was a comment asking how psychoanalysis can help today, sort of in the situation that we're in today. Now, this is a very complex question in my opinion because, first of all, we have to assess what kind of situation we're in today and what exactly that means. Now, I think the precise aim of the question was the idea of why, like, this nihilistic situation in which, on the one hand, we have, so to speak, massive shadow suppression and projection going on, and on the other hand, we have figures rising up that can sort of take upon themselves the shadow suppression, while we have huge global crises like wars, but also pandemics, and the climate change or climate crisis, as it's called, that play a major role in this sort of psychic environment. Now, I do want to comment on each of these crises or each of these problematics individually, but I would like to say a couple words in this video about the perspective that Jung can offer us, sort of how to ground ourselves within these times of change. I think that's the core notion that I want to put forth in this video, and I'll try to keep it very short as an interlude to further videos on these individual crises and topics. So bear with me and please do comment what you would like me to comment on in particular in future videos. Now, Jung's perspective on the world is essentially, I think, split into 2 parts that are relevant for this discourse. One part is the idea that we as egos, or as individual, let's say monads, if you will, are not limited to what we think we are. Now, there is something essentially for Jung beyond the ego that is radically beyond ourselves. And the split into these 2 sort of aspects arises because on the one hand, there is the possibility of looking outward in my own existence in this very moment and seeing or recognizing my own my own self spread out into the world. And on the other hand, I can look backward and see precisely the same struggle in the past by analyzing or looking at products of the psyche. Now, the products of the psyche are not condemned to sort of the past, but they're also represent present in the present, in dreams and artwork that's coming up in the contemporary world, and so on and so forth. Let me just note down timestamps real quick here. Now, okay, my apologies. Now, let's begin with this first idea that we're sort of spread out in the world. Now, I think this perspective is really grounded in this idea that the archetypes offer the trajectories both for a psychic reality and for the reality of the environment around us. And what this means, I know this is quite an abstract concept, but what this means basically for Jung is simply that we as humans have emerged not in isolation, and this goes for our psychic as well as our physical makeup, but in interaction with the environment. Now, if this is the case, then something like the collective unconscious and the archetypes that have, according to Jung, emerged at a time where consciousness was still asleep. So this leaves, of course, the question whether there is an animal level of the archetypes and so on, which we can comment on in another video. But essentially, in a time where consciousness was still asleep or in slumber, this perspective tells us that essentially the archetypes have been formed in a time where we were interacting with an environment that was much endowed with the same struggles that the environment is endowed with today. Now, with the increasing complexity of these environments, especially the social environments, consciousness became stronger and stronger, and we became more and more detached from this archetypal level of existence. Now, this is an obvious issue, and it's been commented on many times. I've talked about this in many many videos. But the idea that Jung offers here is essentially that the archetypes are nonetheless still present outside us. Now, this is the first level. We can go around the world and we see what is sort of what is within us, the kinds of structuring elements that are structuring the environment around us, and other people are also structuring us. That's the perspective of the collective unconscious. Now, on the other hand, of course, Jung offers the idea of projection as a pathway to self-realization. And I've made another video on this where I discuss this in detail, but in short, essentially projection is the idea that we're constantly in the process of casting out into the world what is actually within us. Like we'll say stuff like our neighbors are so XYZ, they're this and that, or this group of people is this and that, right? And essentially what we're saying is I am this and that, or maybe I'm afraid of this and that, or maybe I want to be this and that, you know what I mean? So there's a constant dialogue that we have with the world around us based on this level of projection. So Jung offers a perspective now where we can essentially look at these aspects of the environment outside and our own interaction with it and see within us who we are. Now, that's the first aspect, or that's the first way for Jung to sort of ground ourselves in these times of change, or interact with the reality as it is out there. Now, the second level of this is, of course, the level of the products of the psyche, and this is the sort of backward looking level. And on this level, basically, Jung offers us the idea that the archetypes have structured reality as it is all the time, right? Not only in the present, but also in the past, and they will in the future. There is basically this idea that we can study other people's reflections upon this present, upon this sort of spread out moment, and ponder upon them, and as Jung calls them, products of the psyche. These products of the psyche are fiction, mythology, and art, but also music to some extent, and all of these prompt us to sort of see, to recognize the eternal drama of human interaction with the world playing out. Now, this eternal drama, of course, is still going on, and I think this is my sort of the final level of the future. Humans always are mediators between the realms of the archetypes and the unknown. This means that humans always develop the realm of the archetypes. We as humans are constantly in the process of producing products of the psyche, be it in dreams, be it in fiction, in music, whatever we engage in. We have as Jung puts it, we have the possibility, the opportunity, and the responsibility to continue developing the realm of the archetypes and continue shaping what the future generations will see as their history. And I think this is sort of a perspective when we speak about ways to ground us in these times of change, and with these multiple forces pulling upon us, pulling us apart as people, but also as psyches, as individuals, then this perspective really offers us a grounding, something that we can maybe almost call a purpose. But in any case, it's a perspective that we will move forward from precisely this past and this present that we're sort of based in, that is the fundament of us. And I perhaps want to conclude with those remarks to simply say, I think there is hope. First of all, there's always been hope, and there's always been struggle. And what we recognize in today's occurrences has occurred before. It's sort of the eternal drama that's playing out here. And precisely because it's this eternal drama, Jung offers us these three pathways into the future. Now, if you like this content, please do consider to subscribe. Please give this video a like if you like it. And obviously, leave a comment and let me know what you think. Bye-bye.